Awesome. So, I was trying to think to myself, how can I make this just impactful for you guys? Is everyone here e-commerce? Yeah. Is there anyone that's not e-commerce? Because if you're not, this might be a little bit confusing for you, but you'll probably still get something out of it anyway. So I was just thinking, probably a lot of the problems that you're having now on social media, on Facebook or Instagram advertising, might be probably transformed through the room as well, I feel. So I was trying to think, how can I just give you what we're doing for these big clients to be able to upskill you really, really quickly and get some results pretty quick. Does that sound like a good deal? I was thinking I could do a presentation or I could just keep it pretty interactive with everyone. So for e-commerce, who's global? Like who sells worldwide? Awesome. Who's just bound to Australia, New Zealand? Okay, can I just get some shouts for product wise? Just shout out what are the products? Skincare? Okay, awesome. Huge industry. Yeah. Bull bars. I'm gonna have a chat to you later. Yeah, cool. Yeah. Barbecues, awesome. Just the barbecues themselves, accessories as well. Fantastic. Anyone else? Yep. Cool. Do you use a lot of influencers? Okay. 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 Anyone else? Shameless plug? Yep. Okay. Cool. Diamond rings. Yep. So higher price point for yourself. Okay. Cool. Okay. And what's the big industry? B2C. B2B is the biggest. Okay. Okay. Yep. Ooh. And a pub. Okay. Cool. So you're local, very local with yours. Yeah. Okay. That's fantastic. And just online as well. Okay. So no storefront. No bricks and mortar store. Just purely online. Wow. That's amazing. Awesome. Awesome. I love it. That's cool. Yep. Mattresses. Another huge industry online. Cosmetics. Okay, so that's cool to hear there's some cosmetics in the room because we actually deal with some pretty big cosmetic brands as well. So what I'm going to do today, I think I sort of just show you how to do it is, does everyone just want me to do a build to show you how to build for huge success? Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's videoed, yeah. So the good thing is you're going to be able to come back and watch how we do it. Now, I've got a demo ad account here. I've brought across a pixel that is getting some sales and everything as well. So we'll be able to build all the audiences, all the campaigns, all the remarketing. Who's got, I'm sure everyone here's got the pixel on their website. Is there anyone that doesn't? Okay, good. Is anyone using dynamic ads? Who's got more than one product? Yeah, Ryan, you are? Yeah, cool. Who's got more than one product? Okay, so we need to get you guys on dynamic products. More than for those people that just put their hands up, is it more than 20 products? Okay, great. Okay, let's crack into it. So what I'll do is I'll start the build from very first acquisition, how to build really good audiences to set up to scale. I'll talk about the Facebook auction, how to pretty much pillage the auction to make it work as best for you as you can. Then we'll work through to some remarketing, and then we'll probably touch on a bit of brand and then post-purchase re-engagement as well. So I take it the majority of the room is using the conversions objective for the majority of your campaigns, yeah? Okay, so for the people who aren't, I'll just step it through for you. So how I build my campaigns, I'm a fanatic on keeping accounts nice and clean so you know which campaigns to push and scale. So I always use numbers at the start. So 1 being acquisition, 2 being remarketing, 3 being post-purchase, 4 being brand, right? So it just helps you when you're filtering your campaigns. It really makes it easy to basically descend how those campaigns are coming down. So I usually go 1 AQ for acquisition, and then I'll put if it's cross-border, campaign budget optimization, and then I'll usually put if it's dynamic creative or if I'm just using normal ads instead of dynamic creative. So for this one, lookalikes are your best friend, honestly. Is there anyone in the room that's Australian now but wants to go global with their products and has the facilities to actually push products out? Okay. So I'll build this since there's only a couple of hands, we'll build it for Australia. But just know you can just create the lookalikes for worldwide as well. Okay, so what I'm doing now, hang on. Okay. How many people have used Dynamic Creative in the room? We're using it now. Brian, how are you finding it, Brian?
It's good. Google's had it for a while, and
Yeah.
been successful on Google. It's one of those things where you're handing over to Facebook and say you figure it out,
Yeah.
which makes it hard to create a journey.
Yeah. In the way of copy and creative. Yeah.
So we try and take people on a journey from cold to warm to hot.
Yeah.
And so we've got to be careful because Facebook says, let's put this headline with this picture, and then someone looking at that going, this doesn't look right. It looks like a stock photo with a bad headline. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm a bit mixed still, but yeah, I'm open.
Okay. I'll tackle some of those core concerns you've got there in this build, and I'll try and really lay it out for you. So we'll start with the lookalikes, right? Now, I take it everyone in here has created a lookalike before, yeah? Okay, who's created high value lookalikes, working off like sums and averages? Yeah. So just guys, for some context, so Brian's actually in the SMB program. You're in the SMB now, yeah? Who's your account manager? You got Paz, cool. Okay, so let's do some high value lookalikes. So let's go higher than, can everyone see the screen okay? Do we want to turn the lights down a bit? Can we darken it down a little bit? How's that for the camera?
I can see the screen.
You can see the screen? Okay. So we'll go lookalike higher than average purchase. So this is probably going to be one of your best friends. Okay. And I literally just pressed the wrong one. Sorry, guys. Purchase, and we'll go test one. Okay, so before I just press the next button here. So in the way of budget, right? On the, yeah? Is that better?
Oh, you're brilliant.
There we go, bam. Okay, so how the Facebook algorithms really, I think, changed from a couple of years ago to now is it's really signal based, right? So depending on the objective that you're going with, if it's conversion, add to cart, view content, you need about 50 signals, 50 conversions straight away for the algorithm to go and push harder. So with my campaigns, and I'm going to have to bring the budgets down because I usually start my campaigns at like $2,500 each and then layer it down. If you haven't got that kind of budget, go around 250 to 200 just for the start, because if you're going at like $10, $20 budgets, it's going to take you like 4 times as long. And it really will. Like, it'll take you weeks and weeks just to do that first initial push, which you really need. Does that make sense? Yeah. So for this, we'll just say like $250. That's what I find. You know, if we bring that down to small scale, that's probably what's going to work best for you. And we'll go in and we'll start creating some custom audiences. So these are the high value ones I'm going to recommend to make. We'll make just the normal purchase ones straight away. Now, with these ones, I would recommend going like create small, so like 30-day, and then also create a 180-day. So we'll just do this one. So these are custom audiences that we're making now. We're going to turn them into lookalikes in a second. So 30-day purchase. And then we'll make them more high intent. So can I just get a shout out from someone in the room? An average cart value, roughly? 500? Okay, cool. We'll use that. So does anyone ever use this little refine by tab for their lookalikes? Okay, so this is where you're going to find your really high intent customers. So there's a couple of ways you can do it. So this is by frequency. You can go sum of, average of, minimum of, maximum of. So let's say you go sum of, right? You can come down to the value of the purchase, and then you get some options. So you can go is greater than or equal to, is greater than, equals, doesn't equal, is less than or equal to, or is less than. So because we want to find like the creme of the creme customers that are coming through your website now, so we can look alike them, I'm going to go is greater than or equal to. What did you say, the 500? So we'll put 500 in there. And then we'll call this 500 greater than purchase. And we'll create that. Okay, so there's two lookalike audiences. I'm going to go a bit deeper on this as well. So not only we've got obviously a little bit broader just with the 30-day purchase. Then we've got the 500 greater than purchase for the cart value. Then we're also going to go as far as going through add to cart. So people who are adding, quite a bit to cart. And again, we're going to refine by. You can go aggregated value is greater than or equal to. You can even frequency cap that. But for now, we'll do this. So we'll go sum of. Who's got like more than 200 products on their site? A couple of people. Okay. So for you, you've obviously like got quite a wide spread there. If you want to narrow down on specific items that you've purchased, you can. You know how you've got like content IDs with products in your pixel. So you can go, and if you, okay, so I'll just show you as well. So if you need to find those products, let's say you want to find anyone who's purchased this hoodie in like the last 180 days, you can just come to your pixel helper, you can go view content, and you'll see your content IDs there. Does that help you? Yeah. So you can say like, I want to make a custom audience. This is for remarketing as well. I want to make a custom audience. Anyone who's purchased that item, that a pair of bottoms would go really well with, upsell them straight away. Yeah. So that's in remarketing. So that's how you find those content IDs there. So, but we're still going with the sum of, right? So what we'll do here is, where's my sum? Content category is greater than or equal to. And let's say we're using that LSKD site. So you can also do like your best selling categories here. So let's say hoodies is your best seller. You can create that here. Now, because my pixel's not on the website on this one, we can't, but this is where you would put in your category. To break this down even more, what you can do is initiate checkout. So basically you want to create like just lookalikes of all of these, and then go high value with them. So play around and then go with your frequency caps. Been to my sales page 4 more times and then convert it, and then just start to create, like, you want at least 20 lookalikes to test. Right, so we've got those now, and I'll just use these two as an example. So straight away, does everyone got advanced matching turned on? Does everyone know what advanced matching is? Okay, so advanced matching is basically going a bit deeper with your pixel, and it's going to look more intently into like lifetime value with customers, what they're actually doing, and your audiences might take, instead of like a lookalike audience taking half an hour to 2 hours to create, this could actually take 2 days because it's just going so much deeper into the audience itself. So once you've done this, right, you want to come in and you go create lookalike. Now, for the people that are global, you can now do like multi-country lookalikes. Right, so but for just these purposes, we're just going to go Australia. So the audience we're making the lookalike of is here, 500 greater than purchase. So this is that high cart value. And then now, and I'd recommend to do this, is like the number of lookalike audiences. So you can break it down further, and you go, I want to create like 6 audiences, and you can start to see your breakouts there. Now, I would encourage people, like if you're e-commerce, like there's no reason why you can't sell globally. Who's Shopify in the room? Okay, WooCommerce? Magento? No, anything that I've missed? Okay. So, but we'll keep it to Australia for now. But obviously with like being able to scale hard and like really push budgets into the right area, global is pretty good. Brian, are you global?
We have 3 separate websites.
Targeting each, okay, yeah, gotcha. Okay, so but for now we're going to go Australia, so we'll create that audience. And then we'll go down to the 30-day purchase. And again, we'll come in to create our lookalikes. We'll create our 6. And create it. So that's pretty straightforward, yeah? How to create those. Can everyone say that that's pretty easy to do? Okay, so let's flip it back into the ad account now. Okay, so there's our lookalike of purchase. Now, with dynamic ad set, does everyone duplicate ad sets to make things easier? Yeah, I would. So who doesn't duplicate? Okay, start duplicating because it'll make your life like so much easier. It takes a long time to build out. Duplication can be your best friend. So we'll just do this one for the start, and then we'll go through and we'll start duplicating out from this one. Now, when you're starting your campaigns, get my 1% up here. We'll just start with 1% 30. So when you're starting your campaigns and when you're doing your first initial test, because I take it like the build that I'm going to do today, I'm hoping a lot of you will put this into your ad account, right? I know that like the avatar is really important, but with Facebook's AI, it'll find your avatar for you if you're strong enough with your budgets. One of the best breakdowns I've found, especially for e-commerce, just to filter that lookalike buy is engaged shoppers. Does anyone use engaged shoppers as a filter? So engaged shoppers, by putting engaged shoppers into here, this is basically, I'll put it on so you can actually read it. So this is now going to say from of our big lookalike that we've just selected, it's only going to target people who have clicked on the call to action button, shop now, in the past week. So all of a sudden you've gone like really broad and like, because I know I don't really click on a lot of ads myself, but there are people that just buy all the time on Facebook. So by sort of selecting that, you bring it down to a more high intent audience, right? Because they're people that just want to buy online or showing intent to buy online. But again, so you could split this lookalike audience out. Again, you could go one with engaged shoppers to go a bit more narrowed, and then you could duplicate it again to go without engaged shoppers, a bit more broad, right? Yes, there'll be overlap. Now, Facebook will come back to you, or agencies might come back to you and say, oh, it's bad to bid against yourself. I'm going to 100% say it's not. So if you think about a lookalike audience, so let's say, I don't have a screen here, but let's say you've got 500,000 people in a lookalike audience. All you've done with one ad set is gone, I'm going to grab like 20,000 of those, I'm going to push your ad to them. But by sort of competing, like, yes, it's competing against yourself, but you're just grabbing a different chunk of that audience. And because we're going to split it into day trading, you're going to be chopping these ones out pretty quick and pushing budget to the ones that are working. Does that make sense? Yeah. So we'll keep going. Now, who's using like manual bids? Who's really taking a good look at their bidding in Facebook? Okay, so I'm going to recommend that, and let me just jump back to campaign level. So with your bidding, usually just try and start it on like lowest cost. Once things start to go well for you and you've noticed that ad set's like really picking up some traction, if it's add to cart, if it's purchase, if it's just like you're really trying to push clicks, once you've let that run, that's come out of that learning stage, everyone knows what the learning stage is. With Facebook, like it literally says it, once it's come out of that learning phase, how I get clients up to like a 20-day to 50-day spend is locking bids. So let's say your average cost per purchase is $25, right? And historically, for the last 7 days, it's just held $25, but then you go to push budget, and it's like, this is a big question we get. I go to push budget, and then things just blow out. Like I'm seeing some, yeah. So how to control that is you lock it. So you would do something like a cost cap here, and then what happens is in your audience now, you come down, you're saying, well, we've held $25 now. For a good 7 days, it's stayed the same. It hasn't really pushed, but if it's auto bid and I go to push budget, it just blows out. So what you'll say now is, well, let's put $29 as a cost cap. And see how it says Facebook will aim to get the most purchases and for the average cost to be no more than $29 using the cost cap bid strategy. So you're saying to Facebook, if you can't, like if there's a random day that you can't get a purchase for $29, the budget's just not going to spend. So you're holding it down, okay? Is everyone following along? Am I going too fast? Do you want me to slow down a bit? Please give me the feedback because I can do it. Okay, cool. So for the starting though, we're gonna always keep our campaigns on just lowest cost because you want like the algorithm to really do the work for you at the start, and then you start playing around with it. So there's our ad set created, right? Now with the ads and dynamic creative, oh, hang on, let me just turn that on. So also with dynamic creative, for people that haven't used it, you've actually got to turn it on in your ad set. And why I said before, like why you don't duplicate straight away is because you can't duplicate an ad. You've got to, with dynamic creative, you've got to duplicate the ad set. So in the ad now, I'm just going to put my images in. So I can put up to 10 images. And then I can select my videos. Now, Brian, to address your concern before, how like you're journey based, like that's a really good thing to be journey based, because you get to like sort of tell a story with your advertising. So with dynamic creative, I would create campaigns for your journey. So you're like, I wouldn't go like just put a random 5 to 10 headlines, which is all different journey. I'd go 5 of the same first narrative that you want to go with. Like break that copy out into 5 different ways. Break your images out into 5 different ways. So even though it's different ads, it's still the same message. Does that help? Yeah. Yes.
What's the, I was just wondering if you could explain
Oh,
the
we need-
rationale.
So we need mics. Yeah, sorry, I completely forgot about that. It's my fault.
Thanks. I was wondering if you could explain the rationale for going like with a journey based methodology rather than
Just straight acquisition.
just direct.
Yeah.
And sort of discuss the pros and cons for different
Yeah.
situations.
Sure. Okay, so I'm going to say a journey based as if you're really trying to tell a story around your product. So you might have created different types of content that takes you from how to use it, the benefits of it, something on like influence or something that are using around the world. I see like some companies doing the journey based, and if it's right for the business, 100% go with it. Because if you want to tell that story from start to finish, if it's a higher price point, you might want to go more journey based. For fashion, probably for products up to around that 120 to 150 mark, I mean, just with global audiences and how we scale, I would just probably recommend to go straight, but it's definitely dependent on the business. Yeah, so there's pros and cons for both. We usually find just the straight acquisition sale from the first time is what we aim for. It's just how much you want to break up. Businesses I've seen story mode work, like starting with video views, getting through to website click or landing page view, then remarketing, then from there, and I've seen really good ROAS. It's just depending on the objective that your business is wanting to go for. Does that answer it? Yeah, cool. Okay, so with the dynamic creative, I'll just get back into here. And I'm not going to go ahead and do headlines because you guys will do that yourself. So we've got some images there. We've now got some videos. I'll just put in a URL. Okay, so your copy you'd put in here. And again, it can be story-based or it can just be direct sale. So I touched before downstairs on copy, right? I mean, I use Windmill House Creative because Claire just nails I think the sales pitch of it, because eyes will usually go to the image first, straight down to the headline, and then straight to the copy, right? So really, like, you need to be, and it depends on how you want to come across. Like, if you're just there for like, you just want to make money and just scale hard and go big, just be salesy. Like, show the product benefits, show why people need it, use influencers. Who uses influencers in the room again? Yeah, guys, I would strongly recommend, there's a program, write this down, called Hey, that is phenomenal for finding influencers. I mean, I've seen some of these big guys that are spending more on influencers than Facebook ads, and the return, like the ROAS, Hey, yeah. And there's another one called Ground Signal that you can use. And what it is, it's basically, so when I was working at Culture Kings, we used it a lot around our stores. So we would draw like a geo circle around each store. And we'd say anyone who's got like 500,000 plus followers that walks into this geo zone, notify me straight away. We'd DM them straight away on Instagram, right? And then we'd say, here's $1,000, go keep yourself in store, but we want 5 posts from you and we don't want you to overpost us for 5 days, right? And you can automatically see, just like we had store traffic counters, so you'd automatically see that store traffic just started popping up. So if you aren't using influencers, I'd strongly recommend you. It's becoming one of the biggest verticals, I think, with marketing now. Like, has anyone seen that Fire Festival? That's the power of influencers. They sold a whole fake concert. Like, that's the power of influencers. So I would strongly recommend you start looking into it.
So what's the second one?
And Ground Signal, yeah. Okay, so we'll keep pushing on. So with the headline, again, you can put in your 5 headlines. Now, you can also put in different call to actions. So you can do like shop now. You can do learn more. And depending on your product, you could even go watch more if you're directing them to like a blog or a video page, right? So there's basic, and I'm not going to publish away, but there's a basic dynamic creative. Now, what I would do in here, because we're really targeting the lookalikes, so I'd then come in here, right, and I would duplicate that ad set. Probably around, like, depending on your budget, guys, if you can't spend $250 a day on Facebook, probably go less with your ad sets. If you can spend over $250, probably around the 5 or 6. Yeah? Okay, cool. So I'll duplicate that now, which brings us up all these. And then we're going to literally go through and we're going to put in our different lookalikes in each one. Now, the good thing is, I know everyone's taking notes, but you can come back to this.
So you created ad set and then you changed it.
Yeah, so, and why I do that is because otherwise you'd have to literally come back in, go create, ad set, ad, create your ad, go to all the stuff in the ad again. Here, it's just, you just duplicate it over. So what's taken us like an hour builds now 10 minutes. Yeah.
So do you have different target audience in different ads so you can testing which one?
Correct. Yeah, and so do you want me to go through and do a look? Do you get what I'm doing here? Everyone gets what I'm doing here? Yeah? Okay. So I'll answer that question now with what we do. So let's say we're starting to spend the $250 a day, right? And our ROAS is like a 1.2, right? So not going too well. So this is 2 days past now, but you come in here and like 5 of these or 4 of these just aren't performing at all, but you've got 2 really good ones that are going well. So what do you think you do? You turn them off straight away, right? So you turn off your 4 or 5 and you'd leave your 3 good ones going. Now, we're turning all those off. All of a sudden, your $250 isn't getting spread between so many ad sets. It's now getting pushed into 3. For ROAS?
Yes. What's good?
Okay, so who knows what their ROAS should be? Yep. Who doesn't know? Okay, so a return on ad spend, like I said before, is basically, so if you're making like a 3x ROAS, every dollar you spend, you're making $3 back. You need to work it out. It basically works back to your margins on your product, right? So it's basically like once you know your margin of your product, you'll get that idea of like, what can I pay for a sale? What's my like return on ad spend from that sale? If you work on cost per purchase, just work off cost per purchase. You just put that in your column and you can work off that. They only introduced ROAS, I think it was a year ago now? I think it was about a year ago they introduced ROAS. So that's an easy way to do it. Now, let's say the best case scenario has happened is you've dropped off these ad sets. You've got your 3 that are working really well. And it's like, okay, well, we're spending $250. Our ROAS has come up over time. What do I do now? You add more budget. But then what happens? It blows out. And all of a sudden, it's a lot more expensive for you to sell these products because things have changed around. That's when you would flick it automatically. And you'd come in here and you'd change it from lowest cost and you'd go cost cap, but you wouldn't do it in this campaign. Now, why I say that is because this one's already going pretty well. You would back probably the budget down a bit, and then you would start the duplication process. And this is where your bidding comes into line, and also the competition a little bit. So, okay, we've been running this for 7 days, this situation. We've got 3 ones that are killing it. The bottom one, the lookalike purchase, well, let's just call this 1%, is going really well. This one is the 5%. That's going really well. And this one is maybe like an add to cart lookalike. Okay, so what I would do here, if this is the case and these are working really well, is I'd grab this ad set, I'd go straight into duplicate, right? I'd go duplicate into a new campaign, duplicate that 5 times, call this 1-AQ best performing, and then I'd call this scale test and a cost cap. So can people start to see what I'm doing? We're setting it up to go big now, right? So we're going to duplicate that into its own campaign because we know this is really working for the audience that we've selected. So we want to try and, like, yes, we're going to cross compete a little bit, but we're also going to have the ability to like push it even harder with a cost cap on it so when we do scale it up, it doesn't blow out that return on investment. Okay, so let me jump back. So now we've got this one, and we've got our best performer scale cost cap. Is everyone following along pretty well? Yeah, anyone not? Okay, please say if you're not, because I can, like, we've got time, I can revisit things. Okay, so with the one we've just duplicated here, so we've just put our cost caps on. Oh, hang on. Sorry guys, 2 seconds, let me just redo that again. Okay. So we've now got our cost cap audiences. Now, in that cost cap, and I'll just use these because it's because I haven't published them that they're not coming live. So let's say that these are the new duplicates. Right, so we've just duplicated these out. Now, what I'm going to do straight away is I'm going to go back to the original campaign and work out what's my cost per purchase on average, right? So let's say it's $25. I'd come straight down here and I would put it on cost cap. I'd put it as $29. So I'll just explain this to you so it makes sense with the whole cost capping. So I want you to think of like a floodgates on a dam, right? The water in the dam is the traffic. The floodgates is like the gate to your website. Now, if you've got like, let's say a $25 average cost per purchase and you throw it on to, let's say $14, the floodgates are like right up. So I know it's lower dollars, but the floodgates are right up. And you're saying because your average is 25, but you've only got it at 14, it's like just letting a little bit of the traffic go because I just can't convert you for $14, right? If you go up and you raise it up to like above that amount, your floodgates right down, all that traffic's going to come. It can spend a little bit more, and it's really about how you control it now. So we know that these ad sets are working really well. We know that they're converting at small scale from the one we've just duplicated them over from. So now it comes into a game of how do I play around with my cost caps. So let's say we've launched this out, it's going well again, which generally it does. It's going well again, and you're getting conversions to that $25, and you want to send it to like $1,000 a day from $250 a day, right? Start lower with your floodgates. So bring it down, 25 is your average, bring it down to around 19. And then in your budget, you would start this off with like $1,000 a day. Right? Now, you're probably not going to spend that $1,000. Facebook just won't let you do it because it knows what your average cost per purchase is. Does that make sense? So you might only spend $250 of this. So it's like, well, what do I do then? Okay. So let's say you're on an Australian time zone ad account and it gets to like 12 o'clock and you just notice it's just not spending. So you start to play around with your bids now. So in this bid, it's like, well, it's not really spending. I'll raise this up to $22 on just this one. And then I'd call that a $22 bid. And then I'll put this one up to say 25. I'll put this one up to, I'll put this one up to 30. And then this one up to 35. Is everyone following along? Okay. Does anyone want to have a guess of why I'm doing that? Yeah. Sorry, where's the sweet spot? Yeah, exactly. So, okay, it's 12 o'clock. We know that these weren't spending right out at that high cost per at that high cost bid. So now we're splitting them out, and we want to test where does Facebook deem that our ad sets are really going to perform at. So let's say 22, like, yeah, great, it got one sale and a really good ROAS, but it's just not spending anymore, right? Let's say $25, it's going pretty well. Like, we know that's our average. It's spending, the cost per purchase is holding strong. $30, it's a little bit higher. It's a bit lower return on investment, but we're getting really good sales come through. And 35, it's just blown out. So again, we go through the cull process and we start turning these off and we lock down these ones. Now, because we know they've started to go well, and this will usually happen in the first day or two. Like it happens really fast. If you've got the budget there, it'll really happen fast for you. So, okay, we've now got our best 2 performers here. That's when, and they've held steady at the $1,000 a day budget. They've started to spend. It's 3 days on now. And this might scare you a little bit, but this is how you do it. This is when you go from a $1,000 a day spend to like a $30,000 a day spend, but you watch it like a hawk. So we refresh our ad accounts probably every couple of minutes. We've got our team is there and we are day trading Facebook. That's how these big brands get ahead. I'm working with a client now that has got one product for $200 to $300. About 18 months ago, they started from a $20,000 investment. They're now a $60 million company. They're spending $56,000 a day on Facebook. Yeah, and they did it like this. This is how you day trade. This is how you get success with Facebook, okay? Now, I know that seems a bit scary putting $30,000 budget onto a couple of campaigns, right? It really does. However, it's not like you're just whimming it and think, oh, great, I'll just leave it there and I'm not going to watch it, okay? I'm not going to watch it. Now, I would only do this. So let's say you wake up in the morning and it's 9 o'clock, and if you've got 5 sales to 6 sales at small scale. So like when I usually put a $2,500 budget, we've usually got 100 sales. At small scale, 250, if you've got 5 to 10 sales, or maybe a bit less, I would never do it on an ad set that hasn't had a purchase for the morning. Ever, right? So you want to find an ad set that's really got it. Now, let's say you put your $30,000 on.
And then you can't sleep.
Right, usually this is during the morning. Like, and sorry, just to give you an idea, at the end of the day, you're always going to pull that budget back to 250. Right, so you're only letting it go for as long as you want to watch it for. Right, so let's say you put your $30,000 budget on. That's when you have someone like that's in control of your ads. If you're doing it yourself and you're running the business as well, I'd probably recommend to get someone to do this for you. Because you're wearing multiple hats and you probably just don't have the time to sit in front of a screen all day long and day trade Facebook. However, if you want to be like one of those businesses that in 18 months' time grows exponentially fast, this is how you do it. I'm not lying. We've done this with multiple clients now. This is how you make money on Facebook. So what are we doing now with put the $30,000 budget on things? We're watching it and we're pressing this little button here every couple of minutes. Right? Refresh. But the good thing is because we've manual bid it, if Facebook can't get a purchase for $25, what's it going to do? It's going to stop spending. It might spend a couple of bucks, but it's not going to spend, right? So let's say you put your $30,000 budget. Let's just say $10,000. Okay, let's bring it down a bit. Sorry, we'll bring it down to $10,000. I don't mean to give you a heart attack. No, it hasn't. We're pretty onto it, and you can set up rules as well. Does everyone know about rules in an ad account? Brian, do you use rules?
Don't think so, dude.
Okay, interesting. So you can create rules in an ad account. Now, before I touch base on rules, now let me just see if this ad account's got. This is only a new one, and it's not coming up, which is strange.
You've got a huge budget amount. Are you doing that so that Facebook goes, quick pay attention to this person and dump their stuff onto the market?
Yeah, auction. This guy wants to get ahead in the auction. Yeah.
So you're running impressions from that cost anyway.
Yeah. So why I put a big budget on is because like you can just continue plodding away at small budgets and going it, or you can make. You know when Boost Posts used to work really well, and you could literally, or just you put a post out. And sorry, I keep forgetting about the mic. Sorry, guys. Brian, can you just repeat that question for me?
So you put some huge budgets on. Are you doing that so that Facebook starts paying attention to you and gets excited?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So let me break this down a bit for you. So you know how I said before, Facebook's like one of the biggest auction places in the world, right? You are competing with every other advertiser out there. Not even in your vertical. You're just competing with other advertisers that are really showing intent. And then I sort of spoke about the Boost Post. So everyone remembers when Boost Posts used to just go like crazy good. You could spend like $50, make tons of sales in a day. You'd hit pretty much everyone on your page if you were targeting your page, or you hit like huge reach. Now, I think from what I've seen with Facebook, and I know it's a little bit scary to people thinking like, oh, there's just so much going on. But now, like in this day and age in 2019, running ad accounts, like even when I got up and presented at Blueprint, I think 2 years ago, is like pressing the boost post button. It seriously is. And why you've got to be so aggressive with it is because if your product works at small scale and it's showing good intent, showing good signals, like I'm getting purchases, I've obviously got the right audience in place, I've obviously locked down my bids. Like Facebook's huge. Why wouldn't you go big? It's just you've got to stay tight on this little refresh button. That's the thing. And if it starts to blow out, yeah, sorry. Oh, Mike, hang on a sec.
I was just going to say, and then where do you keep an eye on the screen? Obviously, like where do your
Yeah.
sales come up?
Okay.
So where should you then go? Stop.
Okay. Does everyone want to see like how I set up my scale dash? Okay, let's do that. Okay, so for ecom, this is pretty much what you want to be looking at.
So Harry, another question without the mic, but I'm sure you can hear me on that microphone over there. This sounds like you're doing it for the impulse purchases.
Correct.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like fashion and things like that, where someone's going, I like that dress, I'm just buying.
I've also seen this work with a price point of about $900.
That still could be an impulse purchase.
That's an impulse purchase. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, keep going.
Isn't going to work on a product where it's a new product and you have some impulse purchases, but there's other people who want to research it more or learn more or see testimonials or
Yes.
whatever.
And I'm going to continue building out the ad account to show you how you capture those people. So this is only like step one, what we're doing now. There's probably another 3 or 4 steps that we'll go through.
Yeah, so just in reference to that $30,000, if
Yep.
that's only on that ad set, how will that apply, that $30,000 apply to the other ad sets? Unless are you thinking of doing the campaign?
Budget optimization.
Yeah,
So you could be doing this on 5 to 6 campaigns at a time.
so, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you, I was just thinking about, you said allocate it to someone else to do. How many people in the room going, who could I trust to not be checking Facebook while that's happening, like real Facebook, not ad Facebook. Keep going.
There's agencies out there. I mean, like, I deal with people that are spending the big bucks, right? There's agencies out there that burn people. Has anyone been burnt by an agency before? Right. It's I shouldn't say it, but at Facebook, I hated just the amount of people that get burnt. When I did my paintball business, we got burnt. I think we got charged just for a website. We got charged $35,000, right? And then we went to a Shopify gun that built it for $5,500 and it outperformed the 30. Like, there's just sharks out there. To come back at that question, right? I would say, is it worth your time putting out a job role, really using impact hiring to gauge if this person is trustworthy? Because if you want to go big and you want to go fast and you want to take the Facebook motto, move fast, break things, I would say it's probably worth your time to invest in it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No. I want people to interrupt because I think it's like, that's why I wanted this session to be like.
This is really awesome. We are still developing our product, so we don't have a landing page yet. So we won't know that our landing page works.
Mm-hmm.
So this is assuming that you've got a high converting landing page. So if you have got a new landing page and you need to test that and you need to test the ad, like what order would you do that?
Yeah. So that too. Okay. To answer that, guys, I'd recommend Shopify for everything. Yeah, I would 100% recommend Shopify for everything. There's a pretty easy way you can do it, right? I mean, your product's the number one seller. I've seen conversion rates at a 0.86. The product's so good it just sells, right? I was chatting to one of my mates who is a partner with us now, and he used to be the lead engineer on Culture Kings. So he was the e-commerce manager that took that business to what it is today. So he's just done some work for one of my clients, and to work out how you work out the conversion rate, it's not always just the theme or the page. So we worked out that iPhone 8 Plus was the biggest converting device, right? We then looked into the U, and we're like, why is the drop off so bad? Like for iPhone 8, so every other device is converting really well, but iPhone 8 Plus, our biggest device, is just not converting. So Joey jumped into the analytics and found out that the UX for iPhone 8, the add to cart button, wasn't even appearing. Instantly, sales started pouring in. So I would say, like, try and reach out to a good developer. There are some out there. The big agencies try to avoid, because you're just a number to them. Like, that's why we deal with 6 clients, because we want to go deep, not broad. So try and find your more boutique clients. So does everyone get that? Because I want to move into the remarketing side of where you really see the big numbers come through. Does everyone come to fight move down to remarketing? Because just I'm a bit cautious on time. But in hindsight, with this acquisition, yes, you are going to get your impulse buyers here, right? You will get your impulse buyers. And I know I've said some pretty big numbers today, right? But I'm saying that because that's what we deal with every day. If you're starting at a $250 budget, don't be afraid to bump it up to $1,000. As long as you watch it and you got a cost cap on, don't be afraid. If you want to bump it up to $1,200, don't be afraid to do it. As long as you watch it like a hawk, you can just strip the budget out as soon as you want, right? So let's set up some remarketing. Now I want to use so LSKD as an example. So their biggest performers on their website is jackets, jeans and pants, and headwear, right? So in Ads Manager, you've got so just in Facebook in general, you've got pretty much 2 to 3 different types of remarketing that you can create. It's going to basically work for you straight away, right? Again, you're doing your conversions, you're doing category-based remarketing. Remarketing. And it's going to be conversions, it's going to be campaign budget optimization. Again, you're going to start with your $250 a day because that's what we want to base it on. Now, remember, what did I say downstairs about the split? Acquisition and remarketing. 70-30, right? So here we go, jackets. I usually find for e-com, 7 days is a pretty good number. So like 7 days, like, can anyone recall an ad from like 5 days ago? Yeah, it's as you get, you've really got to work out what these days are. And if I had a blank ad account, a blank Google Analytics account, you can go into. Is everyone pretty confident with Google Analytics? You can go into conversions, multi-channel funnels, time lag, and path length, and you can see those breakdowns for days. Like, what's your biggest converting days? So you can really read it. If you need to find it, just go back through the recording. So here you go, jackets. I'm going to skip the ad because we all know how to create ads. Right, so we come in here and we go your category-based remarketing. You come into your jackets. You just create your new audience, which is your custom audience. You go website traffic, people who visit specific pages of your website in the last 7 days. Grab the URL for jackets. Come to your ad account, drop that into here, right? So there's your 7-day jackets audience. Then you go into your next one. Now, an easy way to find this, if you're not too confident with Google Analytics, an easy way to find your biggest categories is you can come in here, go here, right? And you can change event to URL. And straight away you can see like what your big pages are by session or event on your website. Does that make sense? So I would probably create a 7-day ad set for this one, this one, this one, and I would warrant probably 397 sessions. Is probably not enough to do remarketing. But what that does let you do is go, well, why are these other categories not going? Why don't I set up some acquisition ads to push some more traffic into these? Yeah, makes sense? Okay, so that's one style of remarketing. Does everyone get that? Okay, let me go back into Ads Manager. Now, dynamic ads. So if you haven't done dynamic ads before and you've got more than 6 products, I would highly, highly recommend you to get onto Google right now and look up catalog sales in Facebook. I've seen accounts, like right now, we've got a campaign running that's probably this month spent 150,000 and converted probably about 3 mil. Dynamic ads is the biggest. Brian, do you use dynamic ads? It's awesome, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, not that much though.
Not that much, no. But one of your highest converting campaigns?
Yeah, like, except for ones that have like a offer,
Yeah.
so like a discount.
Oh, you've got a discount code on it. Yeah. So to set up catalog sales now is going to take a long time. But let me just run through quickly and take your eyes away from the screen again. So goal number 1, set up your acquisition. There's no point going into remarketing right now because you can't scale it. Get all those lookalikes that what I created before going. Get your add to cart lookalikes going. Get your purchase lookalikes going. Get your frequency lookalikes going. Like people have been to my site 5 more times. Get your view content lookalikes going. Can everyone make a declaration to me right now that you're going to do that when you get home? Yep. Okay. The next one I want you to do is set up, so where I've got this 1-AQ lookalike, right? Set up another one, which is just interest-based targeting. No audience, no lookalike audiences at all, just straight interest. Then I want you to set up another one, which is no targeting whatsoever. Literally just age and male or female. They are performing super well. How much time have we got left? 1 minute, cool. Right. So after the AQ, and look, I know we haven't got a lot of time. Would anyone like me to do a webinar at some point to like really dig this out? I'll do a webinar. I'll set up, just if you want to check out my website in like 3 days, I'll put a link up there. You can just register for it. I'll do it free for you, and we'll run through the whole lot. Yeah. There you go. There's some value for you. Oh no. There we go. Okay, then I want you to set up and write this down, catalog sales for people with 5 or more products. And then who resells after someone's made a purchase? Who can upsell? Yeah, anyone else can upsell? Yeah, cool. So then the next campaign would be an upsell where you're saying if you've bought like these bottoms or if you've bought this device, this other device plugs into, and I'll go through it in the webinar a bit deeper, how you can cross-promote to people. So I'm sorry we don't have more time today. I hope can everyone say they learned a little bit about acquisition today? Yeah. So I hope you guys got a lot out of that, because that's what's killing it for the big companies today, and that's how we've seen companies start from 0 to millions. Questions? Yeah.
As I said before, I'm B2B.
Yeah.
Can I get your opinion on Facebook for B2B?
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'll give you a
feeling
little
it.
secret. Okay. For B2B, if you just want to target businesses, the easiest way I know how to target businesses that's worked well for me is you can take out your lookalikes. Actually, still do your lookalikes, but instead of engaged shoppers, now you can do in here, where is it? You can go by category, but you can also go, I don't know why it's not here at the moment, it usually is. You can go people who spend like a little bit on Facebook, people who spend medium, and then people who spend higher than average. Straight to business owners. Yeah. We need the mic. Where's the mic?
Just ask a quick one. On your demo that you gave us downstairs of one of your companies, I noticed your add to cart ratio to purchase ratio was about 10 to 1.
Yeah.
Ours is about 2 to 1.
Really?
What are you doing differently? I know 2 to 1 is great.
Yeah.
But you're scaling it up more. So what are
Yeah.
you doing differently to get so many add to cart compared to what I'm doing?
I think it's probably just the level of spend and traffic. Yeah. So because we're really going for impulse buyers, we get a lot of the add to cart, but then we've got like a 1 day. The majority of our accounts have like a 1 day DPA ad running. Yeah, not a 3 day, not a 5 day, just a 1 day add to cart. So the minute because remember 70% of people are on the go. So the minute you add to cart, there's a 1 day ad set there that we just throw huge dollars on, and it just feeds it back to them, and we just offer straight to them straight away.
Okay.
Yeah, so just discount. Yeah.
Is there any list of behaviors that you can refer? Because you know what to look for.
Mm.
It's usually just doesn't come up.
Okay, so you can also go in here. Oh, this is a demo ad account. So we'll go in here. So you can come into behaviors and you can just literally go through each one. Yeah. Yeah. So that engaged shoppers, guys, is your best friend. Literally, that's your best friend. Yeah. Any other questions?
So we're B2B, and one of the things I'm struggling with is I would think it's really easy just to say, I want to put this in front of pharmacists or practice managers are two, jobs, but you just can't find them. Or
Yeah.
you get these really,
Small assets.
yeah, and you're just going, surely something like a pharmacist, there must be
On Facebook.
automatically 10,000, 20,000 of them, but it's not the case. So how can you nail it down by job description easily?
Have you tried the job title?
Oh, go for it. Yeah, it just doesn't work. You get these hopeless, vague.
So if it doesn't show up in browse, have you tried just typing it in?
Yes.
It doesn't come up. Okay, it might not.
Well,
just,
you get the obscure, assistant pharmacist, and you go, well, wait a minute, what about the actual pharmacist or whatever? So it sort of pulls up, somewhere in the US, someone's typed in something really obscure, like, I'm the nasal pharmacist, and that'll pop up,
Mm.
but you won't get a pharmacist just popping up or practice manager or something like that, big sort of job descriptions.
Yeah. I would say, how are we going for time? One more question. Okay. I would say if you, on a niche market like that, have you tried LinkedIn advertising?
We're trying to do stories and
Okay, you're trying to really sell the brand of it. Yeah? Okay. I would try. I mean, it's hard when you're tackling such a niche, right? If it's just the one person that you're after and you are B2B, I would try and frame up like, who is this pharmacist? Are there any huge blog sites that they would be going to? Are there big magazines around the world that they would be following? I would go your job title plus that, plus lookalikes. And then I would just try and see if the algorithm can start finding for you. So just let it sit for a couple of days at a small budget. Look at your clicks, look at your click-through rates as well, and then just see if the Facebook algo can start trying to find them for you with those small little behaviors in there. Yeah, it's a difficult one with that niche. I'm not saying it's not possible. You've just got to play around a lot more with your audiences and probably go more micro. Yeah, definitely go more micro. Okay, cool. Next question.
The next question, besides, okay, you focused a lot on, impulse buying.
Mhm.
What about if your product's a more expensive product? For
Yep.
instance, ours is, say, air conditioning.
Mhm.
I think someone up the back was a barbecue. That's usually a bit more of an investment for a household.
Yep.
How would you change anything for that?
I would probably still set it up the same way. I think it's my creative that I would really push back to you on. We all saw that video from Akosa down below. You can make a mattress funny, and you can make it a mattress same with you can do it with a barbecue. It comes down to that content, and probably more what Brian mentioned before about that story based. If that's something story based, to me, it works really well. You just got to have a really good narrative in mind of what story you're trying to tell. Every video has to have that end goal in sight. Your copy really needs to be salesy and informative. So don't just create content for the fact of creating content. Create your storyline, story arc it out, chop it up into your little 7-second pieces. If you watch video 1, show video 2. If you watch video 2, show video 3, and you should start to get the feed from the website from each one of those videos that you're showing down. Yeah.
Thank you.
Does that help? Yeah. Awesome. We got to wrap it up there. If you want anything, come and see me after. My flight isn't for another couple of hours yet, so I'll be downstairs walking around. But guys, I hope that was
Fantastic. Thank
Awesome.
you, Harry. Okay, who learnt one thing there? Who got something valuable? Awesome.